Hi there. This week I'm going to be talking about literalism, originalism, as well as modernism, all being ways you can interpret the Constitution. I'm going to be outlining each, and I'm going to be giving a good example and a bad example for each, and how they can all be used together because each has a good component. Therefore, we can fuse a combination of each together and make use of them. So, we'll be starting with literalism. What's a good example of it? It states that the president should be 35 years old in order to be president. And that's a good thing. There should be parameters, there should be rules as to why you get to be, who you get to be, and how you get to be. Unlike the 9 federal or just judges that we have, who don't have to have any type of law school education or any type of age restrictions or much of any restrictions at all, honestly. But yeah, which makes it really vague and doesn't really provide us with what should one do to be a judge, unlike the presidency. So what's an issue? In the Eighth Amendment, it states that we should not have cruel and unusual punishments. Now, if you take that literally, you don't know what that means anymore. It's the world has changed. As Norbert Elias has pointed, a German sociologist, the world keeps moving on, and sometimes unusual punishments are norms 100 years ago. The guillotine, that was a very normal punishment. People gather around to watch people get beheaded, and that was not cruel or unusual, even though nowadays it is. So, what it is to punish unusually and cruelly, that is very subjective and it should be stated more clearly. We can't just take literally what it says, therefore making it an issue to interpret that literally. For example, in the 13th Amendment, that abolishes slavery, but it allows for incarcerated people to have a form of enslavement, to work for free basically. I would say that's pretty cruel and unusual, but we still do it nowadays. So yeah, I would say that's a flaw. So, originalism. Congress shall make no law abriding the freedom of speech. That's a good thing. We should still uphold that in order to protect what it is to have a democratic government. We can't have a restriction on free speech in order to have politicians protected and criticism of the government, when we should be able to speak our minds and gather and have democracy and be able to say what it is that bothers us about the government or what it is that doesn't bother us. So it also states in that we should all bear arms. What does that mean nowadays? That's what it states. If in an originalism perspective, we should all be able to have any weapon we want, but back then they had muskets. Now I can have an RPG, just like hold it and blow up a whole house. It doesn't account for modern firearms, therefore making it pretty absurd and not really something I can take to face value, making originalism an issue here. So moving on to modernism, I will say as a positive, cruel and unusual punishment. That should be modernized. It's a flaw in the literalism, but if we take it in a modern context, we can say what it is to punish cruelly and unusually. Do we as a society accept this? Therefore, making it more of a modern issue and being able to define what it is for us to now punish in a way that we shouldn't. So, what's a con? The Constitution gives Congress power to regulate commerce. Now, commerce back then meant trade and exchange of goods. Now it means any economic activity, which is really unfair. I mean, I could go on eBay and sell something and the government could want a piece. But yeah, that is it for this video.